And thank y'all again for tuning in again with us for another episode. So I ain't gonna hold you too long. So this is Kicks. What's up, Kicks?
What's up, KG?
How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, today, I figured we'll do this because you got like a heck of a journey, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, I want you to, you did 9 years in county.
Yeah, 9.5 years.
9.5 years in
Yes.
county fighting what?
I fought a first-degree murder and 15 counts of robbery.
At what age?
I was 23 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I didn't get arrested, like, right away. They were looking for a boy. So, like, 2 months later after I committed my crime, that's when they got me.
okay. All right. So we jumped. So hold on. Take me back a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like either to the night of the case or I would like to know a little bit about how you came, how you grew up, like,
Well, my upbringing was pretty good.
Okay.
I was raised with my grandparents, my dad's parents.
Mm.
Both my mom and my dad were addicted to drugs.
Okay.
To this day, they still are.
Mm.
So I had a really good upbringing. I went to Catholic school my whole life. My grandma was like my biggest fan. My grandpa was my coach throughout like my whole adolescent years, all the way up to high school. I had a really good upbringing, but
Did you have any type of relationship with your parents?
my dad was in and out. I mean, he lived in the home, but it was like he was there, but he wasn't physically there.
Okay.
It's about or mentally. At the
So
time.
he was just emotionally
He was just gone.
disconnected.
Yeah, my mother, she left me when I was maybe 10. I want to say 10.
Mm.
She moved to Las Vegas and she never looked back.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so my grandparents were my mom and my dad.
So I know you kind of go and say like I had a good upbringing, which I don't deny.
Yeah.
But that had to have played.
Oh, definitely. I had I wanted that sense of belonging, and even though my grandparents gave me everything, like I still felt like I didn't belong there. So I reached out like different places, like with different people, and I landed up in the wrong crowd.
What do you mean reached out? Like
Yeah, like I started hanging out with people that I thought
Okay.
were, I was gonna fit in with. So it gave me a sense of belonging. So the only time I really had a sense of belonging growing up was when I played sports,
okay.
because it was a team. Like we looked out for each other. It was like I lean on you, you lean on me type thing.
Like family.
Yeah. But then when I got old enough and I stopped playing, I started looking elsewhere for that belonging.
Which is where?
So I started hanging out with my older sister,
Okay.
and
Same mom, same dad?
we have the same dad, different moms.
Got it. Okay.
So because I wasn't raised with her, any chance I had with my siblings, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to take it, because I felt I belonged with my
Straight
sister,
up.
So it went from there. I started hanging around with the wrong crowd without even really realizing it. I just thought I was out there having fun, And then one thing led to another, and I found myself committing robberies.
So was it like, okay, like was this just wrong time, wrong people? Was you indulging in gang banging? Was you like hanging with the people that used? Like what? Tell me about the crowd. Like
Okay, so, well, the era where I was like in like softball and stuff, I was meeting obviously like different girls. I played all girls softball, so I was meeting different girls from different high schools.
okay,
From there, it went to the party scene where like we were going to like clubs and house parties, stuff like that. People were indulging in like, dibble dabbling with drugs here and there. Me, I always said I wasn't gonna mess with it only because of my parents.
straight up, yeah.
But it got to the point where everybody was doing it, and I felt like, damn, like I don't belong now because I need to belong. So I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to fit in with that crowd. So that's when I started using drugs. It was socially at first, just at parties, and then it became a habit.
What was it?
Methamphetamine.
Okay, understood. Okay, so one thing led to another.
Yes.
And you were about how old?
I want to say I started using like at 17.
Okay. And then when you say one thing led to another, like kind of take me to that night. We can just go to that night.
Of my crime?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was already in like full blown addiction already.
Okay.
I started hanging around with my sister, and my brother-in-law.
You guys used together?
My no, I was like doing my own thing with drugs.
Okay.
I don't think my sister was using,
Okay.
but I just wanted to be there with her. So regardless if I used or she used, I was gonna be there with her.
Straight up, yeah.
But that night, my grandmother actually wanted me to stay home.
Mm.
She begged me to stay home that night. And I had a friend that called me and asked me if I had a car. Excuse me. So I said, well, no, but I can get one. So I landed up calling my sister. And that's how my sister got involved, because she had the car. So I talked to my brother-in-law, and my brother-in-law actually hung up on me. I don't know if it was by accident. I don't know. It was just like sign after sign for me not to go, you know. And then I finally got a hold of him, and he was like, well, we're already out partying. You know, I don't know what you want to do. So I told him, I was like, well, somebody hit me up and told me about this robbery. It was supposed to be an inside job. We can hit this spot, and it's going to be easy.
Okay.
You know, it's like in and out. The person's going to hand us the cash. That's it. So he was like, all right, cool. So we went. We landed up going. We got to, it was a subway robbery in Whittier. When we got there was two people there, an elderly couple, and it was two workers. And I walked in first. I had a bandana over my mouth, and my co-defendant went to the table where the couple was, and he pointed a gun at them. And he told me to go around the back and to get the money. Well, little did I know that the girl that was supposed to be there, she left early. So the girl that was supposed to hand the cash to me wasn't there.
Oh, so basically it was an inside job, dude.
Yes. So the person that was there, she wasn't there, and I got stuck with two people that had no clue about what was going on.
Oh, okay.
So I went around the back of the the counter where the register was at, and the manager had his hands up in the air, and the girl that was there was in the back washing dishes. So when she seen me, she had like no clue like who the hell I was. You know, she looked at me like, "Who the fuck are you?"
What you doing back here?
Yeah. So my co-defendant was already pointing the gun at the manager, and he was actually on the phone, and he told him hang up. So he slowly hung up the phone and he put his hands up. By then the girl was like slowly creeping out to look. I was already at the register, and then it like happened so fast. I was standing right next to the manager, and my co-defendant shot the manager in the face.
Oh shit.
So all I seen was like his body just hit that wall, and he just slid. Like I was in shock. Like if you to see the cameras, you can see like I literally like froze. Like I was like, oh, I know this just didn't happen, because my intentions weren't in there to go and hurt nobody.
It was never part of the plan.
Yeah, but like I was basically justifying it for myself. Like I didn't go in there to hurt nobody, but little did I know I was really hurting somebody and their family. Like, you know, I was
Either way,
hurting the company that I was robbing. Excuse me. So once I like stopped being in shock, I actually jumped over him. So I jumped over him. He was just like bleeding out.
jumped over the manager.
The manager. I went around. My co-defendant yelled like, "Hey, fool! Like, get the money!" So I had to literally jump back over him again, like he was nothing. Jump back over him again once I got the cash, and then we split.
When you jumped over him the first time, where were you going?
I was trying to get the hell out of that.
Okay.
Yeah, because when he got shot, he was on the opposite direction, so I had to jump over him to actually get out from the counter.
Okay.
So I like jumped over him like 3 times, like with no like thought in the world, like I'm leaving this guy to die, like, you know.
So in there was you guys, the elder couple still at the table.
Yeah.
She in the back, probably everybody is in
Yeah,
frantic
it was
mode
just
now.
chaos. It was chaos. So we took off. We ran, took off. My sister and my other co-defendant was waiting in the car. So as soon as I got in the car, my sister was like, "What was that noise?" But she heard the gun go off. And my co-defendant, which is her baby's dad, was like, "Just go, 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 go." And I already automatically had felt sick. Like I was like, I know this shit didn't just happen right now. Like this man got shot in the face, bro. Like, so he was like, "Go, go." So my sister took off, and we went down, because it was on Beverly and Norwalk. So I think it was down Norwalk Boulevard. We were going to hit the freeway, and the cops were just coming. Like, you could hear the cops coming. Where we're driving one way and they're driving like, together, like going towards the subway. And they didn't arrest me until like 2 months later. It happened in December of 2004.
So they were going to the subway. You guys were
taking off. We were jamming.
Off, and you had success with getting to wherever location you was going. Okay.
And then unfortunately, the drop that was supposed to happen, it was supposed to be like maybe like $4 or $5 grand, something like that. Because it was supposed to be like the end of the night, the collection of everything that's happened like throughout the day, all the money they got. We literally got like $200 something.
200. So
that man lost his life for like $200.
And like, how was the car ride? I mean, evidently you in a position where you can speak about it now.
Yeah.
Is that
yes
correct? Okay. So like, how was the court ride? Was it like, what the fuck? Like,
well, yeah, I asked him like, why the fuck would you do that? Why did you do that? And he told me straight out. He's like, it was just another body in the bag. That was his mentality. He was a gang member, and he just didn't care. He didn't care. And it was like months previous to when I actually met him, because I met him in September. My case happened in December. In August that same year, he had already shot and killed somebody, and I didn't know nothing about it. So I didn't know, like...
So you never knew who you was dealing with? Like, you just...
No, I just went for the ride because I wanted to be there with my sister.
This was her baby dad. Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's where that sense of belonging came in. I wanted to be with her.
So tell me, okay, you said that you guys left that night. You you basically got away. Okay, so what happened after that?
After that, I went my way. They went their way. I went to stay at a friend's house, and it was all over the news by 6 o'clock that next morning. And I went to my grandma's, and my grandma said, "Where were you that yesterday night?" She's like, "Something happened in Whittier. Did you see it? It's all over the news, Bernadette." And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Of course, I knew what she was talking about. And I told her, I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Excuse me. And I said, "I have no clue what you're talking about." She's like, "Bernadette could have swore up and down it was you."
Because on the cameras it's showing.
Bro. Yeah. She's had me since I was 3 months old. She knows, like, the way I walk, the way I dress, the way I talk, my movements. Like, that lady knows me, So when she said that, I was like, oh, nah, it wasn't me. Because I knew that if I told her, I was bringing her into my case. Because she wouldn't have turned me in.
Because as a ground, now she holding her, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Aiding and abetting.
Yeah,
and I was not going to put her in that situation because my grandmother is my world.
Hey.
You feel me? So I was going to do anything I had to protect her, even if it was lying to her. Because I've never lied to my grandma. Me and my grandma had a, once, relationship. I was able to tell her anything. All the way to when I had G-Ride, she would just have them towed. You know what I'm saying? But she knew what I was doing.
Okay. So you said she kind of was like, I could have sworn that was you, like.
And I denied it. I said, nope. I was in Alhambra all night.
So so now after that, the days was just, of course you were like.
I was tripping because I was like, my days are numbered. But they were looking for 2 guys from the heights of 5'9" to 6'2", ages 17 to 25, and I was nowhere near that height. And I was not a guy.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, all right, bet. Like, they're not going to catch me anytime soon. And then Subway and the city of Whittier put out a reward for $25,000 for our arrest and conviction. And somebody told on us. Somebody turned us in.
Wow. So, and that was all of you guys, or?
It first landed up with the girl, my other co-defendant. The ballistics came back from the bullet that the gun belonged to her father. So that's where it started. They got her first, and my sister was dropping off her kids, and then they got the car. And then they put 2 and 2 together that it was my sister and my brother-in-law. And then that's when they got me. They got me last.
Okay.
Because then somebody told them that I was a female with a shaved head.
Okay, so you had a faith. In,
I was
okay.
actually bald.
Oh, okay.
I was
okay.
bald. Used to pick my head. Used to look like a gang member. You know, I did gang activity stuff with people. I was never from a neighborhood, but I did hang around with a neighborhood, and I indulged in that lifestyle as well.
Okay. Okay. So it was nothing new to you. This
No.
ain't just okay. So, okay, all of you guys now are co-defendants.
Yes.
On the same case.
Yes.
You rocking. Y'all probably going back and forth to court together.
Yes, I was fighting the death penalty for 2 years.
Were all of you fighting that, or
Just me and my co-defendant that actually did the shooting.
the guy?
Yes.
So they went. So they pretty much identified who was actually in the store.
Yes.
And who was the driver. So
Yes.
that was what kind of separated the two.
It just say that somebody got that $25,000.
What?
Yeah. And
Who?
I said I would never like really, because I forgave him already,
Yeah.
but it was my father.
Oh, bullshit.
No, yeah, it was my father.
Yo, oh.
Yeah, and I hung on to like,
Your father, hold on.
yeah, he's on drugs. He's still on drugs.
And he turned y'all in
Yeah.
and gave the tip to all of you guys.
Well, mainly me and my sister,
And then they made their own connections.
and that's when it went from there. But like I mean, I forgave him. I still have my issues when it comes to my father, but I kept that thought in my head because he had said, "I'd rather lose you to prison than lose you to the streets." So because I'm a good kid, not I'm not saying he's a bad parent. I was a good kid that was able to forgive my father. But my grandmother, when it all was all said and done, my grandma said, "You're gonna give me that money.
Telling her son, your dad.
Yeah, you're gonna give me that money."
So how did you guys find out it was him?
The DA told us. He was supposed to be, I guess, like a confidential informant.
Of course, yeah.
But because it was a payout, he had to be in my paperwork.
Wow.
So at first I thought it was like there was so many other people that I thought it was, and we were like accusing them.
Like a
Yeah, but it was nobody that we even thought it was. We never thought
Of
that it was
course.
gonna be him.
and whether
because
he
he's
was on drugs or not, or whether
Yeah.
he was in the home or not, it's like, no,
Yeah.
my dad, come on now, like,
Yeah, and then the day that I got arrested, it was February 27th of 05. I got arrested. My case happened 2004. I got arrested 2005, and my grandparents actually went to North Carolina that month because my cousin was graduating from boot camp in the Army. So nobody was home but me and my father. And I'll never forget it because he was like so adamant about, hey, go to the store to go buy me some cigarettes. And in my head, I was like, well, all right, I'll just go to the store. Like, mind you, like I said, I thought I was in the clear because they were looking for two guys. And I remember him getting a phone call, and it was just really quick, and he hung up. And it was like not even 2 minutes later, they arrested me. I had Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, I have the city of Whittier, and I had LAPD all arrest me. It was 3 different agencies that came and got me in front of my Nina's house, down the street from my grandma's.
because you were going to the store,
I
coming
was going
back,
to the
one of
store,
them.
yeah. But that phone call
Never,
was my dad letting them know, like, hey, she's leaving the house.
Wow. And you, that was suspicious, and it never left your mind, like, that was you.
Yeah.
Because, like, where did they just come from? Like, I never seen nobody lurking outside, nothing.
Yeah, I know.
But that was the only suspicion you had, and it, like, made the connection. But then you still probably downplayed it until they fully gave a name. Damn.
So it was like kind of a shocker for me, bro. Like, it was really painful. So when you talk about, like, betrayal, and if you ever been betrayed, man, it's the worst feeling. My dad, like, like when I went to board, I talked about it a lot because he's my main trigger. To this day, he's still my main trigger.
Not only were you an absent father who was physically there,
Yeah.
you would give anything to that drug, so it made you hold so much resentment. Like, what the, you know what I'm saying? So, like, kind of like explain, because that's like super interesting. Like, I know you say you talked about it a lot in board, so like, talk to me like you was in board. Like, how did you truly feel? Like,
Well, when I found out, I was still in the county when I found out. I want to say maybe like my 6th year in the county when I was fighting. At first, I couldn't believe it. Excuse me. Until my sister was like, "Bro, I can't believe this." Like, she was like hella mad. Like,
you guys were in there together?
yeah, she was my keep away though, because we were
Of
all
course.
keepaways.
Okay.
But I mean, when I would ever get to see her in passing, or we'll
Of course.
shoot kites or whatever, you know. But she was like, "Bro, this is real. Like, dad did this." And it's easy to be like, "Oh, you know what?" Like, I mean, well, it was easy at the time because I didn't really get to work on myself too much in the county because they don't really have nothing to offer you. So I was still in that mentality, like, damn, like, you really did turn us in, instead of being like, hey, you know what? I was the one that really fucked up. It wasn't really him.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, whether he told or not, I was still going to get arrested for something that I did. You feel me? So a lot of that like came into play in me being able to forgive him.
Right.
Because I got to be accountable for what I did.
Yeah.
I took somebody's life, even though I was the one that pulled the trigger. I voluntarily went in there. You know, so when I did find out, I was just dumbstruck, like, wow. And I hated him. It was like he like ripped my fucking heart out of my chest, bro. Like, it was really rough. Like, after that, like, I got into trouble, like, here and there in the county. I landed up in high power for 2 months. Like, I just didn't care, like, you know. And then I finally got sentenced. When I moved, I was at Norwalk Court, and they moved me to CCB. So when they moved me to CCB, they dropped the death penalty and the life without parole. They offered me 15 to life with the possibility of parole. And I'll never forget, my grandpa told me, you need to take that deal. And I told him, like, no, it's a life sentence.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, don't you understand, Bernard? And mind you, I didn't really know too much about the law because I was dealing with the felony murder rule. So even though I didn't pull the trigger, I was still
just
guilty. So I told him, like, I'm going to go to trial. I didn't kill nobody.
Because in your heart, see, you was thinking about the facts of, but I did not do it. It's on camera.
Right.
And they are thinking about participation, like you said, the law, looking at it, but you were there. You knew. In their mind, you can't tell them this wasn't a plan.
Right.
Or even if not, you don't even know who you're hanging with, but you'll do this. So you are a liability. You are, you know what I'm saying, to society. Like,
yeah, so I don't know, dude.
So to this day, okay, so you guys go, you ended up taking it.
Well, okay, so my grandpa told me, you know, you need to take this deal. And I was like, nope, I'm not taking it. It's a life sentence. I'm going to go to trial. And he's like, look, you go to trial. He goes, and if you win, cool. You come home, you be with us again. He's like, but if you take it to trial after I just finished telling you to take this deal, and he goes, and you lose, he goes, you could consider me and your grandmother dead because we are not going to be there for you. He's all, what don't you understand? That 15 to life with the possibility of parole is your grandma's hope of you coming home one day. And he said, and I'm not going to let you hurt her anymore. I was mad, bro. I was like in tears. Like, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. I got to take this deal. I have to. So I took it. Me and my sister got into it at court because of it. And it was bad. It was really bad.
So it's like you was facing being disowned.
Yeah.
Or like, this all I got.
Yeah.
Or taking this and looking at it from the aspect he's saying.
Yeah.
But then they felt like you turned on them because they was willing to keep going to the box.
Yeah. So I had to do what I had to do for me and for my grandparents.
So like at that moment when they was like, when he said that exactly, what did you like feel exactly?
I
Like,
was hurt. I was like, damn, like, no, I was like, no, I can't lose them. You know, I felt like I already lost my parents. I can't lose them too, you know? And I just got to listen. Like he said, just listen. If you never listen, he said, if you never listened to me a day before in your life, please listen to me now. So I did. I took it without hesitation. I took it. And it was the best decision that I could have made. Well, he could have made for me.
yeah, the best advice he could have
Yeah.
given.
Like I couldn't, because I came home. I came home. If I would have went to the box, I would have been trying to, get commutated or, trying to still fight for my way out. I probably would have still been in prison. So
So with you and your sister, you say y'all kind of got into it. So tell me about that moment. Like,
so me and my sister, we kind of had a fallout while we were in the county. A lot to do with my dad too, and my decision to take the 15 to life. So we actually fought at court behind it, and we got into it really bad. They put me in one room, they put her in another, and we're like arguing back and forth at court. And I told her, like, you need to stop treating me like I'm an enemy.
so wait, okay, so I just want to make sure I fully understand what was the issue. So what, like,
I think it was because I was raised with my father in the household. She was like, "Oh, your dad did this." Like,
she had already disowned him. I don't get
yeah,
too.
she was
yeah.
like, "Your dad did this." Like, you're. It's because of grandma that you're making this
And
decision.
did she have a relationship with them at all?
Not really.
Okay.
My grandma would go see her, and from my understanding, she would be really, like, sometimes she wouldn't be very nice to her.
Okay.
Like, she would ask her, like, "What are you doing here to see me?"
Okay.
So which really upset me. Yeah. Me and my sister now have a relationship. I love my sister to death.
Got it. Of course, man.
You know, me and her, like, that's my sibling. At the end of the day, we're gonna beef it, but I love my sister regardless.
Right. So at that moment, it was like your dad did this, and
Yeah.
you taking this deal when we should fight it because we didn't do nothing. But if you take it, you make all of us look guilty.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, she got 9 years, and she went home, and I had to go to prison by myself.
So did she take it to the box, or
No.
how did that?
She took a deal as well because she was the driver, so they really like weren't too hard on the driver
Back then?
Yeah, like, so she was able to get off on it. She did serve the 9, but she was able to get off.
So did you guys kind of keep in contact, or?
While I was in prison, no, it was maybe towards the last end of my term that we started talking again. And we just, we had a conversation and we said our piece to each other. And I know that if I ever call on her, if she ever calls on me, I'm going to be right there and she's going to be right there too. But just on a more positive note, So,
Right. And then the guy,
he's still incarcerated.
he got an L.
At the time, the death penalty was still in the state of California. So they gave him the death penalty. So now that it's they don't have the death penalty in California no more. He's a life without parole. He has it out.
And you don't have no.
No.
Damn.
Because he had the chance to let us go and he didn't.
What do you mean let you go?
Like, he could have been like, hey, you know what? Like, they really didn't have nothing to do.
During the case?
They were just like, yeah, I coerced them to come. Like, he could have said something to let us go and he didn't. So,
I mean, but at that moment, do you really feel like, oh man, I guess you looked at it like, why would you do it? And then you should at least say, like, I did it. But then, I mean, you do get, like, the camera shows you didn't do it, but I'm not going to, like, just put myself in a hole when they got the evidence, but I'm not going to speak it and be like, what they did. I'm just to let the camera show, and I'm going to keep sticking to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whichever that is, because it's so crazy how it's even a debate, right? The clear footage versus I'ma still say this. I don't care what you
Yeah.
see. You know what I'm saying? So, and your grandparents are still here till today?
No, I lost my grandmother 2015 while I was in prison.
Oh,
And I lost my grandfather the year that I came home. I was with him for a year before he passed. So I was with my grandpa when he passed, but I was in prison for my grandma.
so so you said in 2015?
Yes.
And you were locked up for your grandmother.
I was already in prison. I went to prison. I got to AR 2014. So, you know, when you're on AR for a minute, like, you have that behind the glass visit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to have my grandma come and see me, you know,
All
behind
the
the
way up
glass,
there.
you know. So I told her, wait for a year till I hit over the wall. Excuse me. Then we can have our, like, you know, our visits. She was like, okay. But in October of 2014, I was just having this bad feeling that my grandma was sick. So when I would call her, like, me and her had this relationship, like, I'd call her, be like, hey, woman, like, what's up? You know, and she'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, what's going on? You know, like, just regular, like, she's my homie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her straight up, like, are you sick? And she said, I mean, I have an ulcer, but other than that, no. But she was already sick. She just wasn't telling nobody. She didn't tell nobody. My grandmother passed away from lung cancer. So, excuse me, August of 2015, I finally got my first visit. Oh, man, it was like the best.
From her.
Yeah, it was her and both of my aunts.
Okay.
But like I said, I had no idea my grandma was sick. And my grandma was like really like about her jewelry, her hair done.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay.
she was just like the officers used to call her Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Okay.
Because of all her, you know, like she was always like on point,
On
like what she was
point.
wearing, her, like I said, her everything. So when she came, as soon as I seen her, like she was sitting down, and I went to hug her. Well, in the process of me hugging her, I knocked her wig off. So now I'm like, what is going on, bro? Like, my grandma always has her hair done. She don't wear no damn wig. Like, so now I'm thinking, like, what is going on? So my aunt said, hey, you need to sit down because we need to talk. And I'm like, okay, like what? Like, and my grandma's just looking at me like, I can't believe this is happening, you know? And my aunt told me, like, grandma has cancer. And I was like, oh, hell no, not like, okay, so what are you guys doing about it? Is she getting treatment? Like, what's going on? And they said, well, she's actually in remission right now. She has one more set of chemo, but as of right now, the cancer is like leaving. So I said, okay, cool, you know, cool. But it was that day, well, I'll never forget that day, man, when the visit was over. You know how our people have to like wait in line to leave, and then we have to wait in line to leave because we got to go
So
get.
you waving bye, blowing kisses.
Yeah, exactly. So when it was that time, I knew it was gonna be my last goodbye with her.
Like you felt it.
I felt it, man. Like it's like she was telling me bye, like she came to tell me bye, and she did because come that December she passed away. But when it came to that day on December she passed away, December the 11th, 2015, right? I was coming in from PIA. I was working PIA, and something just told me get on the phone. Mind you, you know PIA we get off late, hella late. Count time is at 4:00. I didn't care. I was even surprised the phones were still on. I hopped on that shit and I called the house, and my aunt said she has like hours left. But she that's it. Like the priest came, said his last rites to her, you know, prayers. She doesn't have that much time. And I was like, I want to talk to her. So she said, she's not going to be able to talk to you. And I said, I don't care. Let me talk to her. So yeah, I could hear the machine in the back because it was keeping her breathing. So my aunt said that she put the phone to her ear, and I just told her, like, how much this woman meant to me, like, how much she meant to me, man. Like, and thank you for raising me. Like, even though I made bad decisions, like, I appreciate her being there every step of the way. And 6:00 came around after chow, hopped on the phone, and my aunt said that an hour after I spoke with her on the phone, she passed. It's like she was waiting for me. to call her, you know. So it was really hard, bro. It was really hard losing my grandma when I was in prison. Like, she was my mom, bro. Like, you know. So I had always said while I was in the county that if I lost any of my grandparents, I wasn't gonna give a fuck about nothing. I have nothing to come home to. I have nothing to live for. I didn't care. Like, so I had said, like, if I lose them, I'm not gonna give a shit about nothing. You could keep me in prison, you know. But the cards didn't turn out for me like that. My dad landed up having another kid, and now I have a 15-year-old little brother. That, you know, he was only 3 when my grandma passed. So, you know, my mentality of that, oh, I don't give a shit no more, changed really quick.
So when you got off the phone, like at that moment, like you was fucked up.
Yeah, I was broken. I couldn't even. That's a like a hurt feeling that I would not wish on my enemy, bro. I was so hurt. I was like, I cannot, because I always used to tell her, like, because she used to tell me, oh, well, wait till I'm not here no more, you know. I'm like, don't be saying that shit, like, you're gonna be here forever. You know, we tell our parents, like, you're not gonna die, like, you know. Never, ever. I thought she was gonna watch me walk out them fucking doors. I really did. You know, like, to this day, like, my grandma's been gone, like I said, since 2015, and I don't give a shit if anybody tells you it gets easier over time. It doesn't. It gets harder. It gets harder. I get mad at myself sometimes, especially when I'm doing something right. I get so mad because she's not here to see it. Now, so I get pissed at myself, like, bro, like, I shouldn't have been in prison. She should have seen me doing this. Like, just, you know, I get into my, you know, my negative thinking. But I know she's watching, so.
Because you feel like as much work as she put in to take over, you know, to step up.
Yeah, she didn't have to.
And, like, this is what I chose. Like, and as you get older, more mature, more wisdom, you look back at the decisions like.
Yeah. And so while I was in prison, you know, I took all them self-help groups because I was trying to work on getting my ass home. And in the meantime, like, when I was learning about myself, then I was like, everything was like clicking, like, oh, okay, this is why I was hanging out with these people. This is why I was doing what I was doing. This is the reasons. Okay, I get it now. So now I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to not go back into that? You know?
And any of those things, like, which played a huge factor, like, whatever it was, like, do you find yourself, like, fighting against that today?
Sometimes, because it's easy to be bad.
Yeah.
It's hard to be good. Like, I can't go, like, my aunt lives at that house my grandparents lived at, where I grew up at. And my brother lives there. But I really don't.
The 15-year-old?
Yeah, I really don't like to go down there like that because I walk in the house and my grandparents aren't there. So I struggle. Like, and then my dad lives there and he's still a trigger for me. Yeah. So, you know, I try to stay away because in my head I'm like, oh, you're going to put me back in prison.
For anything.
Yeah, like, because I don't want to hurt him. He's my father. Yeah. But I like I said, he's my trigger, so I'd rather just stay away.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you say you talk about betrayal.
It took me a long time to get where I'm at right now, bro, mentally. Because if I would have been able to get my hands on him when I found out in the county, I would have been in prison for another murder. Straight up, like, I would have took my dad out. That's how I felt. That betrayal was, like, bad. You know? I mean, I don't feel like that towards him now. Like,
yeah.
Now it's like, you got a problem, bro. If that's the life that you want to live, that's your life, bro. Like,
because you see it's was the addiction versus the
Yeah.
he didn't give a damn. He don't give a damn about nobody.
Yeah.
He just
That's
I
not
need to
just
get
me.
high.
Yeah.
Think about $25,000. I can get high for years, week,
Eh,
whatever.
Well,
You know what
about
I'm
a couple
saying?
months for him.
So I just man, that's definitely like a hard pill to swallow, and I know that definitely took some work. At any point that you kind of like go to God, like I like
Oh, I go to
felt
God
like,
for everything, bro.
but like at what point throughout that journey, because that was a tough journey, and I don't know if you was raised in, like Christian, Catholic, anything. I don't know, but
I was raised Catholic, mind you. In the beginning, like I said, I went to Catholic school my whole life, so
Oh, yeah,
I knew
yeah.
God. I knew God, and I believe that when my case happened, that's what I felt the most bad about, because that kid that got killed, he went to a Catholic school just like
the
I
manager
did.
was a kid.
Yeah. Oh, he's 23. He was 23 years old, same
Okay.
age. He had a family, good family. Like, he was in college. You know what I'm saying? So I that was what hurt me, was like, damn, like he had the upbringing the way I had upbringing. I just chose to go the different way. So, but when it happened, like I begged God, please forgive me for this, and I think that helped me a lot, because if it wasn't for God, I don't think I would have been able to get through the county jail for 9.5 years, bro. Like, I looked like a freaking glowworm. I had no sun. The only sun I got was when I went to court. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm normally a little dark. Like, I was light as hell. So prison too. Like, he kept me safe in there. The shenanigans that go on in there, man. Like, I'm gay. Like, I like women. And there's like, people hate, and
Yeah.
any little thing they want to fight you because you accidentally glanced at their girl or something, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So I think God kept me safe while I was in prison. So I thank him every day. Like, I try to incorporate him in my life now, even with my partner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's mandatory. Like, damn, I didn't know you had a story like this. I knew you had one.
oh, it gets better,
But-
bro. It gets better.
Well, I got a second.
Yeah, bro, it gets better. So I came home from prison, and I went to Crossroads.
Okay.
There's a transitional housing. Went to Crossroads, graduated from Crossroads. Got me a job right away, and then I got out 2019. So I was there for about a year, and then
2019, what?
I got out of prison.
No, what month?
I came home in June 2019.
Okay.
So 2020, all that COVID crap hit.
Yeah.
So I used to work for DoubleTree Hilton,
Okay.
right there on Foothill in Claremont. So, it's a hotel, so nobody was like buying rooms or getting rooms during COVID season, So
Right.
we lost our jobs. My coworkers, I lost my job, and man, when I tell you that I put applications everywhere, bro, I put applications in everywhere. McDonald's, I didn't care where. I didn't care. I just needed a job because I was on unemployment after I had left the Hilton, and I told myself I can't do this, and I'm gonna land up going back to the streets. So I was like pushing myself, like I said, applications everywhere, and my friend Claudia, she was in the program with me. She was a lifer as well. She was working at this place, Foothill Transit, and they're contracted by a company called Keolis. And she said, hey, they're hiring bus drivers, And I was like, dude, I'm still trying to
I
learn.
got a feeling.
Bro, yeah, not only that, but that wasn't like my first thought. My first thought was like, bro, I'm still trying to learn how to drive a car again. You want me to go drive a bus? Bro, you're tripping. That big old bus. Like, So she's like, don't worry about it. They're going to train you, whatever. Like, I'm like, bro, that's a big bus. So I put in an application. They wouldn't even hire me at McDonald's, man, because I had tattoos. So I put in the application, and they called me back right away.
Foothill.
Yeah, Foothill
Yeah.
Transit.
Okay.
So I go in for an interview and I'm talking to the, safety, the guy from safety, and he tells me, why don't you have a work history? That was like his first question. I was like, bro, I'm not going to waste your time.
You was honest?
Yeah, I told him the truth. I said, I went away. And as I said, I went away, and he's like, what you mean you went away?
Did you disappear? No.
And I said, I went to prison. I said, as a matter of fact, I'm still on parole right now as we speak. And he's like, really? He's like, tell me about it. So I gave him the whole rundown. And he said, so what are you looking for? I said, man, I just want a chance. I said, I want a chance to prove to myself that I can do this, not to my friends, not to my family, just for me, bro. Like, seriously need a chance. I need a job. I don't care what it is. If he's like, okay. He's like, I'm not going to guarantee you're going to be a bus driver. He's like, but I will get you somewhere in the facility doing something.
That's right.
He goes, and if I can't get you into this facility, he goes, I have a lot of resources that I can help you.
That's right. Dang, look at God.
Yeah, bro. And he had said, as his brothers growing up, while his brothers were in prison. So he's like, I'm going to talk to my HR and my general manager. And he goes, and I'm going to get back to you. An hour later, this man calls me and he says, hey, Miss Corvera, I got bad news and I got good news. Which one do you want first? And I said, bro, just give me the bad news. Like, I'm not going to be no damn bus driver. I'm in public safety. Like, and he said, well, the bad news is you have to come to work tomorrow.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. And then I said, okay, so what's the good news?
You got the damn job.
No, he said, the good news is you get to come to work tomorrow as a bus operator. You start training on Friday.
Damn.
Bro, when I tell you I was in tears, bro, I was in tears. Like, they're really going to give me a chance. Like, seriously, give me a chance. So, we got to take our commercial license. So I take my commercial license, bro. I failed it like the first 3 times. And I was so discouraged, man. And I said, I can't give up. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. I finally got my Class B license, man. I felt like a 16-year-old kid getting their license for the first time.
The joy.
I've been with that company 6 years now. I'm still with that company to this day.
And now did you move up?
I did move up to, I went for a supervisor, and that didn't really work out. I don't like to push paper.
No?
I like to be my own boss, so I want to sit behind the wheel.
So you went back?
I went back. I took a $1 pay cut. But
wait a minute. So you accepted?
Yeah.
And then you said this ain't for me? Boy, what?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it. So we went from there.
So how much you make?
Now I'm at top pay, bro. So I'm at like $35.50.
That's top?
Yeah, the top pay for them, $35.50. But we're heading into a new contract, so we're asking for more money right now. But our benefits are like A1, bro. Like,
so you are, hold on, let's break this down. I got a couple seconds. So
okay,
you went from a felon. No. Skip all the way back from basically you had an L.
Yeah, I had a life sentence.
You had an L that you got overturned. You beat. You did the work.
Yeah.
You came home. You were a felon. You were still on parole. And you got into a bus driving job, a good job.
Yes.
Everybody knows that. You had the opportunity to go to a supervisor.
Yes.
And said, no, that ain't for me. Went back down, and now you at top pay.
Yes.
Man, and there's people out here saying they can't. What the fuck? Man.
Yeah. It doesn't stop there, though, bro. I had a lot of challenges after that. I've been with the company for 6 years, right? Last year in February, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh.
So, I wasn't even going to the doctor for that. I have a herniated disc in my neck, and it was by a fluke that I found out. So February last year was diagnosed with breast cancer. That March, they removed my breast. I thought I was gonna die, bro. I thought I was like, oh, okay, this is it. I served all that time in prison to come home and die.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so basically saying it's running your family from your grandmother, even though
Yeah.
it's
But I'm in remission right now, bro. I'm good. I just gotta take pills for like 5 years, and they just gotta keep monitoring me to make sure it doesn't come back. But I'm good. Shit, I'm a living testimony.
hell yeah, man.
I think God put me on this earth just to overcome obstacles. That's how I feel. You know, He doesn't give big obstacles to the ones that He knows He can't do it. I think He gives it to His strongest soldiers. And I feel like I'm one of His strongest soldiers because He's put me through some shit. I mean, I put myself through some shit too, but He's always, I've always overcame them. So, it's cool. Whatever. Then I'll be like, what's next? Bring
next?
it.
Bring it.
Bring it, bro.
Hey, you know
You
what?
know?
From the first time I met you, always been the same. You always been straight across. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you the same person till today. I told you, I met you in the county. I was probably 8. I got locked up when I was 18. I did 14 months, so I was probably like 19 by that time.
Yeah.
And you've always been the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? So to see you here and to hear, I didn't know your story was like that. You know, like we always talk, but we never talk into that.
Yeah, that depth.
That depth. You know what I'm saying? So, like, man, I congratulate you. Like,
Thank you.
Seriously.
I appreciate that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all glory to God. You know,
Of course.
But like you said, like you feel like you here to just simply overcome, like, and just to like you just a walking testimony, like.
Yeah, like what? Look at me. Look what I can do. If I can do it, you can too.
Damn.
For real. Like, and you know, like the best part of working for public transportation, well, for me at least, I pick up people that I was once in their shoes.
Yep.
You know, so I love talking to these people. It's like God put something on my heart, and I'm talking to them like, hey, this is where I was at too, bro. I was in your same shoes. So it's not something you, like, it's not attainable. It's not like you can't attain your goals.
Yeah.
You put your mind to it, you can do it. So it's like my best part of the day, like when I meet people like that on the bus.
And just having a simple conversation.
Mm-hmm. And it goes from one thing to another, and it just so happens to be the ones that are taking my bus from the beginning all the way to the end. So I have literally like 2 hours to talk to these people.
Time.
And then I know other people on the bus are hearing
Yeah.
because like for a fact that now they start coming up to that yellow line and they're like chopping it up with you and talking to you like, so.
Wow. And man, all I can say, I'm like, God is good. No, God is good. Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was only an hour time. I can only imagine if you could just spill it all. Like, it's not even enough time, but forget time. Like I said, like, my thing is, like, God knows what He doing. When your reflection shows what He can do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's what our testimonies are. And that's why, like, when you look at life like the way that you say you do, like, many people they can't fathom the thought, like, what? Just to get over, man, I can't take it. I'm done. Like,
I mean, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not easy.
Not.
It's hard as hell. Bro, it's hard as hell, But, I got people in heaven that are rooting for me, bro. Like, I can't fail no more. I don't have, it's not an option. I can't. So when an obstacle comes my way, it's like, all right, I'm welcoming it. Like, bring it. What can you do? What can you do to tear me down now? I already went through the ringer. I went through the biggest betrayal of my life. Like, what are you gonna do?
Damn.
Like my mom still tries to come in my life. It's weird for me. It's weird. She calls me all the time, and I tell my partner, like, why does she keep calling me? I'm not. I love my mother. That's my mom. I only have one mother in my life, but why are you calling me, lady? Like, where were you when I was?
Where were you?
Where were you when I was a baby? When I needed you? So I'm trying to get used to that. It's uncomfortable for me, but I try. I mean, that's an obstacle that I'm trying to work on now. I struggle with that.
Okay. Yeah. I can only guess how shit is tough. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love you. My mom, you gave me birth. The life I have wouldn't be without you two. But on the flip side, I have zero relationship. Like, I'm not, no connection.
Yeah.
Like, no. And
You crazy? It's crazy, huh?
yeah. Life fuck with you, huh?
Oh yeah. But I'm gonna fuck with it back. That's don't I don't know. I just can't. I don't feel like I'm a quitter,
Yeah. And it's okay along the way to feel what you feel. Like, that don't gotta go numb. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes some of us thrive off of pain. We don't, it's not like just hurt me. But
Yeah.
if you did, and that's what I got, and that's what I remember, I'll just use it to push. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I try not to let it change me, It's hard because when you go through so much stuff, like, it's like, damn, like, you just want to shut down sometimes.
You build an invisible wall, but that wall of protection. And
Yeah. But then, I want to be that person to be like, hey, you know what? Like, it's different. It's not like that. You could do better. You can achieve better. You can get better,
Definitely.
So.
Damn, Mom. Man, we gotta exit out, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, that's, so with all that said, do you have can you give a message? You know what I'm saying? Don't have to be nobody specifically, but just those that just need to hear something.
I think I'm just gonna have to say, like, you don't quit, when shit gets hard. Like, it's always gonna be a rainbow at the end of the day, and just trust in God, like I did, and He's put me through obstacles that I've overcame, and I know I still got more obstacles to go, and I'm gonna overcome those too, and so can you guys.
Well, man, you gotta hear. Hey, if I don't know, that's a lot to process. I'm thinking about it as well. That is a lot. You know what I'm saying? That is a lot, and it's sensitive. It's powerful. It's courageous. It's motivational. It's everything. You got every single feeling from that. And even though I know it was old, but from my ears hearing it today, it's like, damn. Like, I'm blown away, But, again, the power of God, when I just simplify it in that term, looking at everything, like, you blessed.
Thank you.
Like, you're blessed, And I want you to keep on thriving. And I'm happy that we got this opportunity.
I know, me too, man.
No,
me too.
It's like, but that's why, like, you just go and you listen, and you don't, it's certain things don't take personal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because you can be so sensitive to certain things, you close doors, but people make mistakes, or maybe it wasn't the time. You have to look at it like, what is God wanting me to do?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, I'm tired. No, as in our flesh. But when you listen, you pay attention, you be obedient.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what it has to offer, So, thank you.
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Man, giving that, being open. You know what I'm saying? I know it touched some spots, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It did.
So, again, hey, y'all tuned in to Talent. You already know Talent stands for Take a Look Inside Truth. And tune back in with us for another episode. And I hope y'all just as juiced up as me, Like, this was one of the ones. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, and we out.